Hi, good afternoon. It's the John Gaunt Show. Thank you for joining me here. Let's start talking. I want to talk today about the new pandemic, which I think is a bigger threat to our society than any pandemic before. It's the pandemic of wokeness. Wokeness now affects every part of our life, whether it's the latest nonsense from Bedfordshire police where they're banning coppers from saying words like black sheep, accident, black spot, or indeed, what was the other one? Oh, you can't call a pregnant woman a woman, a pregnant woman. No, she is a pregnant person. Whether it's absolute BS like that, or whether it's the slaughter of these three innocent girls in Southport, I say woke, I say political correctness in its extreme forms are to blame for these things. Let me explain what I'm on about. If you'd like to comment, feel free. But I say we're living in a pandemic now of wokeness. I'm not against diversity. I do believe everybody should be given an equal chance to get on, but it should be an equal chance based on a meritocracy. Not all these jobs are only for black people. These jobs are only for Asian people. No, no, no. The way it should work is, are you good for the job? Great. We must make sure we offer those jobs to everyone, and we don't exclude people because of the color of their skin, their sexual orientation, their gender, their sex. Of course not. Of course not. But it's all gone too far. Woke is killing the world. Luckily, we have a bit of an antidote in Donald Trump. He ain't taking no nonsense, is he? When Colombia said they didn't want to take back their people yesterday, he said, fair enough, 25% tax, trade tax on them. They immediately reversed their decision. It was a U-turn worthy of Stig out of Top Gear, and then they even sent the president's plane to pick up some of these people. Wokeness is killing Western society. And the worst thing about it is, the more woke we are to aspects of these people who are coming into our country, the less they appreciate it. Do you think Axel Rita Cubana, was he woke? No. As he slaughtered those girls? No, he wasn't. Did he care about our society and our norms? No, he didn't. But the people who looked after him, remember, he was reported to the police and to prevent at least 3 times. Found with a knife at school at least 10 times. Did prevent deal with it? Did they hellers like? As I've said before, they're about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. Why were they woke? Oh, dare I say this? Yes, I'm going to say it. And if I get banned, I get banned. Was it because he is black? Was that the reason they dealt with him with kid gloves? Was it also because he came from Rwanda? Trevor, the guy who used to be in charge of race in this country. I know him really well because his name's gone completely now to me. The black guy. He's written a brilliant article in the Times today saying there are certain countries, African countries, for example, he quotes Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's a misnomer. Somalia and Ethiopia, where he says they settle things in a different way to us, usually with a machete. These people are living amongst us. This doesn't mean that everybody from Somalia, everybody from Ethiopia, everybody from the Democratic Republic of the Congo is a mass murderer, but it means we've got to get on top of woke. And when I say it's down to silly things, let me just tell you, I've got this on my phone. Somebody sent me this tweet. It's Bedfordshire Police, which is funny for me. I used to represent their police federation in Bedfordshire. I'd imagine the coppers I talk to are absolutely in a rage about this. A 9-page document has been published online, part of a diversity, equality, and inclusion reference guide. What the F does that mean? What does it mean? A reference guide? For God's sake, we want them to police without favour. Get the rainbow laces out and just nick bad uns. It's like my old man. He was a copper for 30-odd years. It's about nicking bad buggers. Doesn't matter what colour their face is. Of course, there's been racism in the police. And where there's racism, root it out. Get rid of those coppers. But don't treat them all as if they're morons. A reference, a diversity, equality, and inclusion reference guide. I don't know how much it costs. Thousands, I guess. I'm coming to the comments in a minute. Pip, wait there. Grant Davis, wait there. If you want to make a comment, just write it up now in Twitter, Facebook, or indeed, of course, on YouTube. It's the John Gaunt Show. These will be moving to a regular time soon. At the moment, I'm just testing the technology. So thanks for helping me. This nine-page diversity booklet says black mark is no longer acceptable as part of expressions that use black in a negative way. So you can't say it's an accident black spot, even if it is. I wonder whether you can say black ice, or is that wasted? It's just nonsense. The next one is you've got to use gender neutral language such as and I'm quoting this, pregnant person, right? Not a pregnant woman or a pregnant mother to be or a pregnant mum. I mean, far be it from me to prick, if I'm allowed to use that word, to prick your pomposity, but isn't it only women who can have babies? They've got a womb. That's the difference. They're women. This is just nonsense. This is why Donald Trump's right in America. There's only two sexes, men and women. People are gay, people are lesbian. That's not a problem. You can even be trans if you want and wear a frock, even if you've got a COCK. But don't make out that they can have babies, for goodness sake. It's interesting because Festus Attenborough, he was the first ever black police and crime commissioner, and it was in Bedfordshire. I saw him on the telly on GB News. He was just laughing at this. They asked him, have you ever been offended by somebody saying it's an accident black spot? He said, no, of course not. See, these things bring it all into sharp relief. It makes the police look stupid and makes normal people despise them. But this is woke, and woke has infected. It's a virus. It's infected every part of society. Common purpose, when it first started, my wife went on one of the first ever courses. She found it fascinating. She went to Long Lartin prison and places like that, and she learnt about different aspects of society. It was a good thing to widen your knowledge. Not now. Did you know you can't get past the rank of sergeant in the police unless you're a graduate of a common purpose? Brainwashing exercise, I would call it. This is wrong. This isn't diversity. This is one thing, group thing. This is 1984. This is saying you will all think the same. You will all speak the same. Nonsense. Like the latest thing where they wanted to ban you talking about politics or swearing in a pub. It ain't going to work, Sakia. And of course, you are the worst proponent of it, aren't you? Everything is so politically correct and so woke. And you know what? When I'm looking at that savage murder, a child killer, it appears to me that your wokeness got in the way of justice, and you were more concerned about being woke to him. Is it because I is black? Is it because I is from Rwanda? Than actually the danger and the threat he posed to all people. And I tell you what he was. I tell you what Axel was or is. He's a misogynist. That's what he is. He hates little girls. He hates women. Just like the Manchester Arena bomber. It's no coincidence. And if I can draw these conclusions, why can't society as a whole, or why can't the police, or why can't Sir Keir Starmer and that useless Home Secretary of yours? I promise you, I'm coming to you in a moment. That useless Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, they've blamed everyone from Amazon selling knives. Everybody in the media and in the wider society laughed at them. What are you going to do? Have an age restriction on what age you can go in the kitchen? What a load of garbage they came out with. Then they said it's violent videos, which is always the favourite of the political establishment. It's the violent videos. Goes right back to Clockwork Orange. It's nonsense. If you've got a tendency towards violence, those they might prompt you on, but it doesn't cause the violence. These people are thick. Well, they're not thick. They're following the woke view of the world, the woke virus, the pandemic that is killing Western society. We need to be more like Trump. There's two sexes, end of. You don't want to take your people back? Okay, 25% tax. Next week it doubles to 50. Did you see how fast the Colombian changed his mind? He didn't even have to have a sniff of the Colombian marching powder. He was faster than a drug addict on speed in reversing his decision and insulting the American public and the American president. God bless. Oh, careful. Don't do that, John. God bless Donald Trump. Now, don't do anything with this hand, John. Just do that and you're safe. Did you see that Elon Musk? Suddenly he's a fascist. This weekend, what's his name? Nigel Farage's nephew has been done for the filthy crime of upskirting, of taking photos up girls' skirts, right? I believe he should have gone to prison for that. I'm a father of two daughters. He's a disgusting pig. But the so-called lefties, the so-called woke generation, have been having a go at Nigel. Why hasn't Nigel commented on this? What the hell has it got to do with him? If it was his son or his brother, maybe. It's his nephew. But this is what these people are like. They're stinking, filthy hypocrites. They're so convinced they're right. They're so holier than thou. I want them all to die on the cross of, or the altar of political correctness. Oh, sorry, not an altar. Whatever the Muslim equivalent is, whatever the Hindu, the Sikh. I want to be inclusive. I'm terribly sorry for bringing up a Christian reference. How many times have we had stories of people who wear a crucifix being banned, whether it was that woman all those years ago with British Airways? Our whole society is being attacked, not just by the perpetrators of crime, the people who come to our country and don't respect our values, but the people born and bred in this country who have been on common purpose. They run the police, they run the schools, they run the councils, they run everything, right? With their diversity campaigns, and they want to control us. Not only do they want to, they are. Well, it's time the decent, silent majority stood up and did something about it. Right, some comments. Did you hear the Royal Navy have renamed the submarine HMS Agincourt to the HMS Achilles in case it offends the French? Yeah, I read about that this morning, Pip. What a load of garbage. Pip was commenting on YouTube. If you want to comment, feel free. Grant Davis, well said, John. Thank you, Grant. And thank you, Grant, for your kind words this weekend and your donation towards the cause. All appreciate. Oh, I don't know about the woke virus. I think I got the flu virus coming on. Slapping a bird's bottom. Diversity built Britain. It must be true. I've seen Rishi Sunak holding a 50p coin with it written on. And when, as a politician, ever lied to us? Oh, sarcasm, the lowest form of wit, but by God, that's right. Hi, John. Can I say whitewash or white lie? Or can I even say Jimmy White? I'm confused. Yeah, you're allowed to say whitewash, I think. Yeah, because that's against white people. Excuse me. What you're not allowed to do is use the black word in any sense. It's nonsense. I've got loads of black mates. Well, we're not allowed to sing Bar Bar Black Sheep. No, but that'll be Bar Rainbow Sheep nowadays, won't it? It's just nonsense. But let's go back to the serious. Come back to your comments in a moment. Let's go back to the serious subject. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening on audio on one of the podcasts, wherever you get it from, Apple, Spotify, whatever, try the TV version. And although this is live now, it becomes a recording straight away. So have a look at it, set your telly or your computer to widescreen, and you can enjoy all of Gaunty. Yes, ladies, all of Gaunty. So we're simulcasting, basically. That's a posh word, isn't it? A posh word for you. Thank you very much indeed. So please try it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to help me out, do what Grant Davis did. Send me a $5 via Buy Me a Coffee. You see it down there? You can see it down there now. Down there, it tells you what to do. Buymeacoffee.com. And here's a list of some of the people who have contributed already. Excuse me. So thank you very much indeed. Let's go back to the boy, the man who killed 3 kids in Southport. Axel Rida cubana, right? We've had all the excuses. Oh, the final excuse I forgot was this brilliant idea that there's lots of young boys in their bedrooms on the computer. I thought he was going to go on to say watching Fake Taxi, but no, they went on to say plotting how to kill us. It's just such a load of garbage, right? This guy, why was it a Taylor Swift dance day? Why did Manchester Arena attack? What's that girl's name? The pop star? Ariana Grande. Who does she appeal to? Oh, little 10-year-old girls who had their concerts cancelled in Austria because of a terrorist threat. Oh, Taylor Swift. Who does she appeal to? I mean, apart from all the cabinet who got freebie tickets, she appeals to young girls. People like Axel. That bastard. He just hates the idea of young girls expressing themselves. And of course, Taylor Swift also, and I was educated on this myself only just a few months ago. She talks to kids about self-empowerment, about being powerful, about wearing whatever you want to be, wearing whatever you want to do, being whatever you want to be. To me, positive Western liberal values. But these fanatics, these Islamists, they hate it. And that is why I'll need to say this. Let me make this clear. This is an attack on an Islamophobic Islamist fascists, not on the whole Muslim religion. I don't give two you-know-whats about the Muslim religion, like I don't about Christianity, the same with the Jewish, Hindu, or Sikhs. However, when a religion is being used to kill people, murder people, and murder people of all religions, because I'm sure lots of Muslims and Sikh girls and Hindus and Jews like to go and see Taylor Swift too, I'm going to call it out. And I'm calling this out for this is an attack on Western liberalism, the good part of living in the West. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but when are we going to draw the connections and see what's going on here? Or are we going to allow the establishment, Keir, whatever his name is, Keir Starmer, to keep telling us it's a lone wolf? Oh, it's somebody who got a knife from Amazon. It's Amazon's fault. It's a nasty video's fault. No, Starmer, it's your fault. Tony Blair's fault. David Cameron's fault. Boris Johnson's fault. Although Boris did have the thing about the burka, didn't he? But it's your fault, the political class, because you've allowed everybody in and you haven't said you've got to live by our values. And that's what you should have done. You can keep your religion, but there are some things which are just not on. We're just not going to accept it. I was in Earlsdon in Coventry, and I was getting a kebab from the Turkish restaurant there. And I look around, this bloke walks in, he's there in Western dress, right? No, hasn't got a beard or anything. I didn't know. Well, he must have been a Muslim, because then I saw his wife or girlfriend. She was in the full burqa with the thing over her face. In Coventry. There's no need for it. We don't believe in subjugating women, do we, in the UK? Am I still allowed to say that? Well, I believe the burqa, the full burqa with the face covering, is an oppression of women. And that is not what we want. That's what women fought for. That's what feminism was about. That is what those women chucked themselves under horses for, to be treated equally. Anyway, I carried on watching, and they sat down to have their meal. I was just waiting for me kebab to be done, right? Listen. And then she gets these starters, and she's having to lift the veil bit up like that. It's completely black, and put the food in like that. In Britain, now, if I'm in Dubai, I've seen that in Dubai. I respect it. I haven't got a problem. Prevailing religion there, of course, is the Muslim faith. And some of them wear. I mean, I also saw Lisa won't go to Dubai again, my wife, because she couldn't bear the way the blokes were all there in shorts having fags and the women are in the full burqas. She just thought it was horrible. And she said all the blokes are leering all the time. That's her view, right? But if you're in Dubai or if you're in Qatar, you play by the rules. Doesn't mean you have to wear the burqa, but you don't comment on it. But sorry, in a Western liberal democracy, which I think we still are, aren't we? Well, I hope we are. Then I don't like it. Am I going to get banned for saying that? I think it's wrong. And don't give me that codswallop, oh, women choose. No, they don't. No, they don't. It's oppressive. Where are we going next? I think the black ball in Freemasonry will not be changing anytime soon. Well said, Henry. Yeah, it's like me in radio. I was blackballed by the radio industry, but I'm not allowed to say that. It is verboten. I wanted to do that then, but no, this arm won't go up. I just thought that was nonsense about Elon Musk. Nonsense. Garbage. This is brilliant, John. You are back, says Kerry Baker, one of my oldest fans. Thank you, Kerry. Nice to have you on board. I'll have a cappuccino, please. If a crucifix is banned due to religious connotations, then why not the hijab or the Sikh kirpan? That's the knife, isn't it? Yeah, of course, the Sikhs have the 5 things, don't they? Listen, I've got nothing against the Sikh religion. I certainly have not. I have not. My second daughter, I've only got 2, what about that I know about. Anyway, she works for a load of Sikh guys now. Salt of the earth. Great people. Great people. I know loads of Muslims and they're great people as well. It's the religious fanatics I can't bear. I can't bear. And also this bloke, how could he think it was acceptable to come into a kebab shop in Coventry and have his wife dressed like that? I'd be embarrassed. I'd need to have the old full veil on. I'd be bright red in the face. I'd be looking like Alan Brazil in the morning in the TalkSport studio. Brian Sinclair Morrison, thank God I'm not in my 20s now, Gaunty. Everything I used to do then would be illegal or frowned at now. Nice to see you, mate. Thank you, Brian. We used to call Brian loads of money. He's from Coventry. He was the first one of us to ever make any real money. He had this Volvo. It was so long, it took up 3 time zones. And he was really flash. He was a bit of a cockney. And he sold mobile. You with me now? He sold mobile phones. And do you remember when Harry Enfield did loads of money? Well, he was Harry Enfield. He was loads of money. He wasn't a plasterer. But, oh, man, he was a funny guy. He lives in Spain. You live in Spain now, don't you, Brian? You could afford a coffee. Yeah, well, you could afford 2 or 3 coffees. Keep me going. Thank you, mate. Right, where are we going next? Giovanni Martinelli. Well, remember Koua's Silk seemed to be the first man cancelled for his views on Islam. Yeah, he was. You're right. But you see, that's where it's so worrying. That's where people like Rowan Atkinson are so correct. You can't start banning satire about religions because it's the end. It was the beginning, a very thin wedge where eventually you won't be able to say anything. It's like the coppers. It is an accident black spot. And of course, the word black is being used in a negative way, but it's not like saying it's an N spot, is it? It's about intent. This is what I say about comedy. I mean, I'm talking about Harry Enfield, loads of money. Did you see they had been putting his sketches up on YouTube, and it's that one where he's the dad and his son comes back and says he's gay, and somebody was making the point you wouldn't be able to make that anymore, and they're right because they're woke. But you should be able to make it because it was a comedy of manners. Yeah, so many comedies. Whether you want to go right back to the Greeks or whether you want to go saucy postcards or pantomime, it's taking on stock characters, or Chaucer or Shakespeare. It's taking on stock characters and taking the mickey. So you're not allowed to say that either because that implies you're against the Irish because Mick is an Irishman. Somebody said that to me as well. You're not allowed to call a police wagon a paddy wagon because that's got a racist historical undertone. Well, not in today's parlance, is it? But also, I remember when I was on the radio in Coventry, there was a big furore because it was going to be Paddy's Day. And they said, oh, no one can use the word paddy. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's rude to us. I've known loads of Irish people. Didn't think it was funny. There was a DJ. I will leave his name out of it. But very well known locally. Nice guy. I said, let's have a debate about this. So he starts talking to me and he starts playing the I'm more Irish than thou, which a lot of people in Coventry do because they always say Coventry is the 8th county. It's like, where you from? County Mayo? No. County Donegal? No. County Coventry, right? So good. And the Irish have helped build Coventry. And again, I've got loads of Irish mates. But, right, he starts talking about St. Patrick's Day and says, no, it should be called St. Patrick's Day now. We should move on and not call it what we used to call it. And anyway, further into the conversation, I said, so what are you doing? Where are you playing? So the day before Paddy's Day, I'm here. On Paddy's Day, I'm playing. See, it doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say. You certainly don't need a booklet. Now, if you're saying all Irish people are thick and ignorant and oafs and whatever, then you're a racist twat, and I don't want to listen to you, right? But if you're just using a term with no intent, it doesn't matter, does it? No, it doesn't. Especially when you got nutcase Islamo-fascists trying to decapitate, and that's what he was doing, young girls. And when are we going to just face up to it, right? And say there is a problem with some of the people who are coming into the country, and they solve their disagreements with machetes, and we can't have that. And if you want to live here, you've got to live within our rules. You can still go to the temple. You can still do this. You can still do that. You can even dress your woman up like a Dalek if you want. But it ain't really what we're about. And you should be able to say that openly and not be worried about getting cancelled. Because that's the other thing that the woke do. The woke infestation, the woke pandemic has meant that you can be cancelled, got rid of, taken off to the gulag. You don't even get re-educated. You basically get shot for daring to say something which was perfectly okay a week or two ago. It's all rubbish, and it's coming back to bite us. It's coming back to kickers in the ghoulies, if I'm allowed to say ghoulies. It's coming back to kickers. Starmer, you need just to ask Prevent one question. Is there I was thinking about this last night in bed. That's kind of how interesting my life is. I was thinking, don't they record? You know, Prevent when you phone up? And he phoned up, didn't he? Because he phoned up them and he phoned Childline saying, I want to kill somebody, right? They must record the conversations. You know, when you phone Sainsbury's to complain about something, or you phone the tax office, they always say, we record many of our things, of our phone calls, so that we can use them for training purposes, something like that. It's bull. S-H-I-T. It's BS. They record every conversation. So are you telling me that Prevent, and the clues in the title, they're meant to be stopping terrorism? You don't think every phone call's or recorded digitally? Of course it is. I had a mate years ago when I was in Coventry. He's one of my DJs. He worked for BT. I can't say his name because I think Official Secrets Act. But his job then was to listen into phone calls and listen out for words like cocaine, deal, heroin, smack, whatever, right? They had it on a computer. It was very rudimentary in those days, right? But everything's listened to. Wake up and smell the coffee. And donate one as well if you could. www.buymeacoffee.com. I just want to put some more of those people who have been helping out. There we go. Thank you very much indeed. So, where was I up to? So, you're not telling me Prevent haven't recorded the conversations. So, if they recorded the conversations and this kid kept coming up, why didn't they do something? Why didn't they do something? What's the point of Prevent if you say, oh, I think this person could be dangerous? And then their other excuse is there was no definite, because he didn't have, I wrote it down somewhere, because he had no real ideology, right? He had no real ideology, then they put him down to low level. And now they're telling us there's thousands of these people who haven't got an ideology, but might one day go and start trying to chop off little girls' heads. Is that the Britain you want to live in? Now, it's not just Keir Starmer. He's only just got into power. But it's the rest of them. Because all of these MPs go on these courses. They're all there in solidarity with the Rainbow Laces Brigade. It's just so annoying. We step out of line. I just saw today, Bristol Council are going to only empty the dustbins once a month. Their excuse is this is more ecologically sound because people are putting the wrong kind of rubbish in the bin and maybe people will recycle more. No, they won't. They'll just tip it in lay-bys. But you're doing it to cut costs because you're skint like every other council. My bin only gets emptied once every 2 weeks at the moment. Why? Aren't we paying enough council tax? But they've got enough money for a diversity czar, a cultural czar, and all that kind of crap. They've got enough money for all these translators. Have a leaflet in 6 million different languages how you can kill us. Yeah. Have they got a leaflet just in English saying don't have a knife or don't be a fascist? And then how's the other one as well? A lot of this all goes back as well to this idea where they try to define Islamophobia and make Islamophobia racism. You can't be racist to a religion. Yeah. But that's what they try to do. So what's happened? And I bet you this is what's happened at Prevent. They get a phone call, right? Oh, he's black, right? They've probably got a checklist. He's black. He's from Rwanda. Oh, no. Where's the kid gloves? Who's wearing the kid gloves? Oh, you'll have to wait a minute. Egbert's got them on at the moment. Oh, no, now Flora's got them. Hold on. We'll pass the kid gloves in a minute. They're probably dealing with that many people where they've got to put the kid gloves on. This one slipped through the net. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Sorry. Oh, dear me. Oh, right. Anyway, sorry. So that's what's going on. So they treat him with kid gloves when they should have had him off the street. He should have been locked up. He should have been in a secure unit. Then he couldn't have killed those 3 little girls. They have blood on their hands. And the Diversity Brigade, the woke brigade. I'm sorry. I know in the end it comes down to him. He killed those kids. But the woke brigade and people like Starmer, they have blood on their hands, just like the man. And if you don't believe me, here's my final bit of evidence on this. The Manchester Arena bomber, yeah? There was a security guard. Do you remember this? He said, oh, yeah, I saw him coming and he had a pack on his back. And I thought, oh, dear, yeah, he could be a terrorist. But I didn't want to say anything in case people thought I was being a racist. That's what's happened with the woke pandemic. Everybody's second guessing. Everybody is literally themselves. And that's the problem, guys. That is the problem. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go back to the bad old days of coppers arresting you because you've got fuzzy hair and big lips. I don't want to go back to, remember that sketch with Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones on Not the 9 O'Clock News? That's my cultural reference there, just in case you thought I was being racist. But we don't want to go back just to black people being lifted off the streets. Of course we don't. We don't want black people being harassed, black young men, if they've got a nice motor. Of course not. Of course not. But do you remember when BMW, people got criticised for saying BMW stands for Black Man's Wheels? To my mind, that was an observational joke coming from Coventry. Any of my mates who happen to be black and made it, what did they buy? A BMW. But it's not racist. It's kind of like a stock character. It's not meant to be derogatory, but that was banned. You're not allowed to say that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go back to people saying the N word or the P word and stuff like that. I don't want that. I say judge a book by its cover. Well, I normally judge a book. I said, don't judge a book by a cover. I normally judge a book after 26 pages. If after 26 pages, I'm not doing this, then the book's gone. I don't know whether you're like that. I'm a bit like that with telly. I give telly 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Or a film, 12 minutes. If it hasn't caught me within no time, I'm off. Anyway, right, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for it. I'm the Elon Musk of TV and culture. Let's have some more comments. If you want to comment, keep coming. Giovanni Martelli, I've read yours out earlier. I do apologise. Declan Doherty, Western liberal democracy. Not since we've had a prosecuting judge running country that treats everyone as subjects to be manipulated in his own court, where he can manipulate and bend the rules like he used to. Just scary. Now he is in charge. He's never been a judge. He was the director of public prosecutions. But anyway, freedom of speech is always the first casualty. I agree with most of what you said, Declan. Thank you very much indeed. Denise Deacon, this is a good one on Facebook. I'm offended by people who are always offended. Kerry said, I was going to like your comment, Denise, so I clicked on it, but there's only an option to report the comment. Oh, that's not right. And then Denise has come back and said they're having a conversation amongst themselves. Typical women. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. I can't use a stereotype of the fact that women like to go off on a tangent. Sorry, forgive me. I'll whip myself later. Oh, Kerry, you could come around and do it. No, don't make jokes like that, John. They're offensive. They should change their name to Don't Prevent. Absolutely right. He had a stack of anti-British literature at home. It should be classed as a far left literature, as Britain hating is what the left do best, but it won't be. Yeah, that's a very good truth. Nice haircut, John. Was it from one of the hundreds of Turkish Albanian barbers on every high street that only accept cash? What's that all about? Well, we know what that's all about. It's about drugs. But I will tell you, Regan and Carter, I did go to I used to go to a fantastic Barbers. I can't afford it at the moment in Leamington. But I went round our top shops. There's two together. So your joke about there being loads of these barbers, there was two literally next door to each other. Then the bottom of our hill, there's another one. All men's hairdressers, barbers. So I went there because I've been before and he'd done a good job of it. So I got talking to the guy this time, but it was a different guy. And I said, are you Turkish? Because the last guy who was in there, he'd given me a lecture that he wasn't a Turk, he was a Kurd, and Kurds are the best hairdressers. Oh, fair enough. Just get on with it. Anyway, this guy said, I bet you can't guess where I'm from. I said, well, if it's not Turkey and it's not Kurdistan, I said, I don't know. Well, anyway, it turns out in the end, he was from Romania. Well, I had a woman called Monica, who worked with me at BBC London for ages and ages. And she was lovely. And this guy was lovely. I think he's made quite a good job of it. And he did accept cards, which amazed me. I said, do you take cards? He went, yes. As long as you haven't just made it, taken it. Yeah. We had a nice conversation. Good and bad. Judge them on their actions. Is that Martin Luther King? Judge me not on my appearance, but judge me by my actions. It is, isn't it? Oh, I can't wait for that to all come out. Can you? With Trump, the Martin Luther King killing, and the JFK. Fantastic. Lord Carbacken thinks it's the dating site. He says, hi, Gaunty. Hi, everybody. Yes, thank you very much. Is it true that Bob Marley liked a BMW? Bob Marley and the Wailers. Yeah, very good. Denise Deacon says, I remember Monica. She was gorgeous. And when I say gorgeous, she was gorgeous looking as well. And I don't mean that in a horrid, sexist way, but she was a gorgeous person. I had a great team there. I had a great producer called Kath. She was a black woman. It's interesting within this conversation because she said to me, don't think I got this job just because I'm black and I'm a woman. I said, I wasn't thinking that at all. Lying, because I was. Because I think I was a bit like that, thinking you only get on in the BBC if you are a black woman. But I was wrong. She's immensely talented. Great girl, woman. The thing about her was she was quite a large woman, but she had a sunrise coming out of her bottom. You know they do wear those low slung jeans, some women. It was the sun. And I remember she said, are you looking at my backside? I said, yeah. She said, why are you doing that? I said, well, why did you put that tattoo there if you didn't want people to look at it? And I said, that's typical of you. I said, you really do believe the sun shines out of your eyes. And she laughed. And then we got on well after that. We got on well. But she was offended if she thought she'd only got on because, and that's where it's wrong because this is what happens. So if you're black and gay or Asian and you do get on in certain professions, you then think everyone thinks you only got there because of that. It's wrong. It's racism in reverse. Meritocracy is what we want. Surely. That haircut makes this broadcast look like a dating site. Yeah, Laird. It may be Laird, but you got no chance. You got two Hopes, Bob Hope and no Hope, mate. I'm not available. See in the force field? Say there, look. Oh, can't get it off. Like having my haircut too short. I'd lose my strength if I had any. Anyway, look, we're going off the point. Let's get back to the major thing. So I'm finishing now. If you like what I'm doing, can you please share this video afterwards? Can you please tell people to get involved? Can you also contribute? Dead simple to do. Just send me, go to www.buymeacoffee.com like all these people have done and contribute anything you fancy from a $5 upwards. It all helps. You'll notice that on my podcasts and on my videos, I've now got adverts. You only get the adverts by building the audience. So eventually, right, that will become a revenue stream. And then we'll get then we'll get sponsorship and everything will be hunky-dory. And I'll be turning left on the plane and driving a Jaguar again. Maybe not. But you understand. I just got my first notification from, what do you call it? YouTube. I've made, I think it was £10.13, right? So we're not exactly going to be millionaires next year, Rodney, but we'll build. And from small acorns, great oaks sometimes develop. So that's that. So that's what I'm doing. If you can help out, that's great. But if you can resist wokeness, do that. It's so important. We are living in a pandemic much more dangerous than the ones we've had before or the ones they keep threatening. This pandemic challenges our very, very way of life. They want to change our way of life, the way we talk to each other, or when we talk to each other, or when they how we converse, our comedy. Comedy's already changed. Have you seen how crap comedy is now? Because you can't have a joke that takes the mick. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. Are you with me? Yeah? Or are you against me? I don't want to live in this sterile world where you're second guessing everything you say, you're self-censoring. I know when I got my had my big trouble, about the care home and all that, and kids in care. One of the barristers said to me, self-censorship is the worst kind of censorship. And that's exactly right. Where you go to say something and you stop yourself. You should just be able to say it. And if somebody doesn't like it, if they think it's off colour, am I allowed to say that? Then they tell you off. I wouldn't let any mate of mine be racist in front of me. I wouldn't allow them. I'd say, hang on, leave that out. We don't need that anymore. Come on. And then we'd move on. I wouldn't say, I'm never going to talk to you again. You fascist. Yeah. And that's what I thought about Nigel Farage. I thought it was just unfair on him this weekend. They were having to get a go at him because of what his nephew did, which, of course. Oh, that was the other thing with the Be Kind lot. I was talking about this Axel and these savage murders, and they said, oh, see, you haven't said anything about the two girls. You know, the racing commentator, John, his wife and two daughters were killed by an ex-boyfriend with a crossbow. A horrendous crime. Filthy, horrible. Bound them, then killed them. Oh, you haven't mentioned that. Why? Is it because the perpetrator isn't black? I didn't even know if he was black. I do know his brother's in prison already for a different murder. And somebody now tells me he's of Moroccan extraction. But I looked him up. He's born in this country. I wasn't not talking to him because he wasn't black. Just nonsense. But they immediately want to call you a racist, because it fulfills their kind of, I don't know, some sort of perversion. I just don't know what it is. Where's it come from? And has it made society better? No, is the answer. No. Because if you treat somebody differently, and we get two-tier care views of the world, and we've got a two-tier crime system, haven't we, in this country, legal system. We've definitely got it in the police, where certain groups, like those Palestinian yobbos, they can do what they want in the centre of our great capital city. Countryside Alliance, well, we'll have them. Jerry Clarkson, smack. Now, I'm using him as a symbol. I just think it's wrong. And it always seems to me that the people who mostly get attacked by the establishment forces seem to be, and maybe I've got this wrong, you tell me, they seem to be ordinary, decent people getting their kids through school, paying their taxes, entrepreneurs, trying to make something happen, going to work every day, doing the right thing. It's a mad, mad world, my masters. Anyway, I'm finished. Look, I'll be back. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I'll do it. What time did I do this one at? 3:30. I'll try and do one at 3:30 tomorrow. Thanks to everybody who's been watching today. Really appreciate that. If you want to watch it again, it'll be up again soon. Or indeed, if you want to hear the podcast, just go to Apple, go to Spotify, go to wherever you get your podcasts from, and it'll be up there within the hour as well. My name's John Gaunt. If you've got kids, can you give them a kiss? Can you give them a hug? And can you please tell them that you love them? Thank you. See you soon. All the best. Bye.